Hello everyone and welcome to northeastworms.com. So today we'll have another little drive and chat. So I have good news. I tomorrow will sign the lease for the new place. It's a little smaller than I hoped. It's a little bigger than 2,000 square feet, but I will make it work at this point. So the place is amazing because it's a place by myself. I don't have any other people, and it's very nice because it's split like in two parts. The one part is the main part that is very big, where I can put all the equipment, and all the CFT beans. I can build more stuff to produce more casting. The other side is a little smaller, and it felt that it was a little warmer than the bigger place, and so I will put all the reproduction bin over there, and that is perfect. So I will separate all the reproduction bin with the warm casting factory and all the big equipment and everything. So I should move in less than a couple of weeks, and I start to pack actually. So the bad news is that right now that the weather is better. I was ready to start to ship worms again, but now I am overwhelmed with the move. Actually, I started to pack everything yesterday. I resetted another CFT bin and I put all the worms in a 38-gallon tote because I have to start to move the stuff. Those stuff are very heavy, and I have to load on the truck, and that's impossible to load this stuff on the truck. I went to get information, to rent a truck with the gate lift, but still the gate lift is not big enough to take the CFT up. So I have to just reset everything, take everything out, and take all the casting, of course, cocoons and whatever. So when I harvest, I have 3 different products: casting, worms, and all the finer unprocessed stuff with all the babies and the cocoons. And I will show you what I take out from one of these big CFT. In total was almost 1,000 pounds of material in total between everything. So those stuff are very heavy. So the other thing I want to talk about is I don't know if you saw my social. I just posted the labs result for my casting. They come out after a couple of weeks. Actually, they took 2 weeks to give back the labs result, and they are exceed any expectation in a good way, of course. So my worm casting come out that is beautiful. It's amazing. It's full of everything planned, and you guys want it, as actually want it. They have all the nematodes. Nematodes are the good bacteria. They have all the predatory bacteria that we want. They have the right balanced amount of fungi and the roots feeder and everything. It's perfect. I am so excited about this result because after 1 year of hard work and experimentation and fail and succeed and the trial and error, finally I found the perfect formula. Everything is working out. The labs told me, this is one of the biggest labs in USA. They told me that they are like more than 20 years they do labs to casting, compost, soil and everything, and they told me that my casting is one of the best they ever tested. And in the commentary they say, don't change nothing. If you change slowly, because your worms are very happy and you are doing great. And that's amazing. So regarding the bacteria, I read one post in one group. I think there was a Worms Go Wild group. One post regarding one lady that was commenting, and she wrote down. She said that there are one kind of bacteria they can kill worms. That's absolutely not true. Okay, so let's talk why you can have a dying off in your bean and you don't know why. you can understand why. You think you are doing everything well. So one of the reasons, of course, there can be million of reasons, from like scarce of food, from whatever. But one of the most common reason is the lack of oxygen. So if your bedding is super over moistened, and you don't fluff enough, and you overfeed, what happens that the bedding will become anaerobic. There will be lack of oxygen, and anaerobic and the lack of oxygen means that the bacteria, the good bacteria, they start to die. The worm, 90% of the time they don't care. They are good with that. With over moist, actually they like when the things are over moisted. Of course, not flooded, but when they are very over moisted, they don't care. They are okay with that. The problem is the bacteria. Anaerobic, full of bad bacteria with lack of oxygen bedding will kill the worms, because will kill all the good bacteria, the bacteria that actually feeds the worms, and the predatory bacteria. They will prey on the bad bacteria. So what do you have? You have a pile up of bad bacteria, and all the good bacteria, they are gone, and the bedding start to be rancid, and there will be lack of oxygen. So the worms, they don't have exchange of oxygen through the skin, because the worms, they breathe through the skin, so, and contact with the moisture. So if the water, the moisture that is with the bedding don't have oxygen anymore, and when they're aerobic, the worms don't breathe. It's very easy, and they die. That's the main reason why you have usually a big die off on your bedding. Your bedding, especially if you have like the tray, like I have, the mortar tray, they need to be fluffed at least once a week, at least. And this is also one of the reasons why I suggest in this kind of tray to use warm chow, because warm chow gives you control 100% of everything, of moisture, and also because you feed once, twice a week, you fluff everything. So the bedding is well oxygenated, and you have control of the moisture. It's amazing. But of course, you have to use. I strongly suggest and push you to use kitchen scraps, because one of the reasons why we breed worms, is because we want to take out of the landfill some trash and transform it in gold. But when you use kitchen scraps, I suggest strongly to add double in volume of carbons. They can be any carbon you want. It can be peat moss, can be cardboard, can be leaves, can be whatever you want in a carbon. But always add double in size, in volume of the kitchen scrap. If, for example, you add, go by volume, don't go by pound. If you add half a gallon of volume in kitchen scraps, add 1 gallon of volume in carbon. Always, guys, always. This will prevent extra moisture, will prevent any bad fermenting, because the kitchen scraps, they ferment, and they can go bad, inside the bedding, and they can contaminate your bedding and kill off the good bacteria and pile up the bad one. So again, the worms die because of lack of oxygen, and the meantime lack of food, because they feed on the good bacteria. If there are no good bacteria and there are no oxygen in your bedding, the worms die. It's the same thing of everybody. Worms are living things, and like all the living things, human included, they need the three things: water, air, oxygen, and food. Okay, if you took out 2 of these things, because of course if extra moisture, they have water, but they don't have oxygen, they don't have food, they die. Without oxygen, they die faster than without food. it's proved that the worms, they can feed up on their own casting, on their own poo, up like 3-4 times. Of course, they will be not very full of nutrients like the fresh bedding, but they can feed after because they feed on the bacteria, so there are good bacteria if the bedding is everything okay. So guys, be very careful about that, because every time I saw on some posts on Facebook on everything that people are losing a bunch of worms, they care, they spend money, times and everything to breed this beautiful little pet that we all love, and they die off. 99.99% of the reason is that it's over moist, overfeeding, bedding when rancid, bedding when bedding have a lack of oxygen and went anaerobic. So be very careful. I'm here, guys, for any question you have. I am here to help. You know me. I'm very happy to help, and I will answer to all of your questions that you have. Oh, one more thing, I almost forget. Sorry if I move my hand, I'm Italian. So one more thing. So I made a comment on EV video, our friend EV, okay, about coffee. So I made another drive and chat video about coffee, that you should use coffee. Coffee is very nutrient, give a bunch of micronutrients on your casting, and my lab's test is the proof. If you see my lab test, the micronutrients percent of my casting, they are amazing. They have nitrogen, phosphorus, they have everything in the perfect high quantity. So, and the plants that will have my worm casting, they will be grow fast, happy, and give you a lot of product. And the coffee is one of the reasons. Coffee have a lot of micronutrients, beautiful, amazing. The worm process and give back on the casting. But there are the downside. Coffee is poor nitrogen. So if you pre-prepare your bedding, to use it, because it's a good thing to have some bedding already prepared, with everything inside. When you feed kitchen scraps, you use as carbon, this kind of the bedding that's already prepared, and it's good to put a coffee inside. But you can use all the coffee you want. There are no limit to the coffee. It's the limit of the not overfeed, because it's food. But you have to pre-compost. You have to pre-compost the coffee. When you got the coffee from Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts, whatever people give you coffee, or your own coffee you produce at home, put in a bucket and pre-compost for at least 2 weeks. I had 2 huge batch of bedding that went rancid, and the smell was overwhelming, and there was nasty, rancid, and I had to toss everything. So it was not only the economic damage that I had as a result of these mistakes that I made, but it was also the job that I put in preparing this bedding and store this bedding, So when you use coffee, please pre-compost, okay? I was ready to make a video on how I pre-compost the coffee, but I can't make anymore because I'm packing everything in the wormery, and I don't have any more space to store stuff. I started to put everything, and I think in 1 week, no more than 10 days, I have to start slowly, maybe in like a week, to took everything outside, because also I have to build other stuff. So I want to make the total move in around 2 weeks. So I guess that 70-80% of the next video there will be like a documentary on my moving. I will show you how I make this move happen. I have a lot of worms because it's like 3 months I don't sell worms. I love worms. They are very, very happy. They are reproducing like crazy. I have a lot of babies and cocoon, and so I have to build more stuff for the worms, and I have to build more stuff to produce more casting. Okay, guys, it's everything for now. So please, of course, subscribe and share if you find interesting this video, and push the bell icon, so you will see everything about the move. When the next time I go to the Wormery, I will make a video so I show you my new place. All right, guys, thank you very much. See you next time.